Alright, what's going on guys? It's Triple G here, back with another New World video. In today's video, we're going to be going through our group and expedition build for New World. This is our healer build, which can do a significant amount of crowd healing, but also bring the big boys when it comes to single target healing. Guys, if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise, let's get straight into this video. So you might be thinking, why are we changing the build? Why are we having a different build? Why do we need a new one different to the solo build? Well, the main reason for this is the way that the tanks are used for bosses. So essentially, you're going to have a guy that is going to grab the aggro from a boss and then hold him there. However, sometimes with the old build, you would be on a cooldown for a long time. So we have changed some of the skills. We've also updated some of the gear as well. So I want to point some of that gear out to you because it is really, really useful. So let's start off with that gear. So we are using straight up Constitution and Focus with calming gems as we go. As you can see here, I still have some green armor as I am beginning to get some gear score level things go through. I do not have a shield because the shield stats do not count, so just be wary of that if you are trying to stick into medium. I am going with heavy armor as well. I have found that medium armor in the very, very high areas just doesn't cut it. You will get one shot by things, which isn't good when you need to be alive to keep your team alive. In terms of the jewelry, I got this infinity crystal from a quest. Ideally, it's not great, but as I use the hammer from time to time, having strength is pretty nice. Then I get this silver leaf. Now, this silver leaf actually comes from somewhere called the Eternal Pools in Reekwater. So you will need to go in there. It is top tier in terms of enemies, so you will need to go there in a stacked group. Remember as well that groups larger than 5 actually reduce your drop rate. If you need more details on that, there was a video on my YouTube only yesterday, so make sure you watch that so you understand exactly why you might not be getting drops if you're rolling with a big group. Finally, I'm still using my ill-gotten gain, but this will be replaced once I have a suitable either focus or constitution earring. I love the ill-gotten gain. If you are below 60 and would like this, then there is also a video on my YouTube. It is a little fantastic piece of kit. So let's move on to the attributes then. So first of all, we'll be focusing on our focus. So I actually spec'd 250 points into focus, and then the rest is coming from my gear. Then the rest of the points are going into constitution. Strength is mainly coming from the gear as well, so don't worry about that too much. So let's move on to the life staff then. So it's really, really important here you know the difference between the previous build and this build, because this build is specifically for groups, so that if you are a group healer, you're going to be able to help your tank and your team at the same time. So we have dropped Order for Protection here for Light's Embrace. So Light's Embrace will give us 100% healing damage plus the 30% for every buff that your actual teammates made. So you are putting buffs down with, you know, your other skills from either Sacred Ground or from Beacon, and then they are actually getting extra healing. I have seen this go up to 7,000 heals just in one click, which is amazing when you consider some of our DPS characters and our DPS teammates are only like having about 10k health. So you're healing them for 75% of their health at times, which is really, really nice. Then this one, Inspire, this is specifically for our tanks. So the 3-second cooldown on Light's Embrace is really, really nice, because what that means is that whenever the tank drops below health or it loses its stamina, we can hit that tank to heal it, and we're also giving them stamina as well and enable them to tank for longer before they start taking damage. Then the final point here is Connection, which is whenever you heal a target with Light's Embrace, you gain 1% of your max mana for each buff your target has. Again, that plays into the buff thing that we were talking about earlier, and it's really, really nice. So in terms of the offhand, I go with the Warhammer still. That is because of the crowd control. So when you're on cooldown, you can switch to your hammer and go in with a shockwave. Now, if you have DPSs that use the hatchet, they will get extra damage for all those enemies that are CC'd. So you go in, hit them with the Warhammer, and then they will get extra damage. Get out of there, and then put your heals on the ground as well. We're still using mainly the Crowd Crusher tree, and we're using Clear Out, and of course Mighty Gable as well. So I really, really like this. There are some other shout outs as well. Clearly you can use the hatchet if you want to, But for this build, as it's groups mainly for expeditions, we're not going to be getting up close and personal. Make sure that you are staying at range and that you are doing your primary function, which is being a healer. One of the other advantages of actually having Light's Embrace is that you can actually heal yourself, but just by pressing the button once. Then if you have no target, then you can press the button on control and you will actually heal yourself. It's about 3,000 normally for the healer as well, so it just saves you a bit of time on the potions as well. It's particularly if you're on cooldown with the potions, so makes really a big difference. Final thing I want to touch on is just the gems. So we're using the calming gems in the gear here. Ideally, I would have more calming gems on this armor, but we don't have it right now. And then definitely we'll be using amber in our warhammer and then a diamond. Now this life staff is actually a life staff that drops from the final dungeon, the final expedition. It is the Lazarus dungeon and it has 25 focus. We have a diamond in it, which it came with, and then blessed as well, giving us an extra 40% healing, which is exceptional in just all walks of life. So it's really good. I will continue to push this up with gear score, hopefully running those dungeons as much as I can. And then finally has on crit gain 10% fortified, which actually adds a buff to us, which means that if we did use Light's Embrace, we would get more healing as well. Guys, that is it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise I'll catch you on the flip.